All right, good afternoon. Mr. Marshall,
Yes,
would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number, please.
my name is Charles Ray Marshall, DOC 124441.
All right, Mr. Marshall, you're here this afternoon seeking a commutation of your sentence. We have joining us today by Zoom in opposition, a member of the victim's family, Ms. Geraci, Pam Geraci, and we'll call on her for her comments at the appropriate time. You were sentenced in October 1995 in Caddo Parish for a conviction for first-degree murder. You were sentenced to life. Is that correct, Mr. Marshall?
Yes, sir.
All right, your case this afternoon has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman, seated to my far right. Would you answer his questions?
Good evening, Mr. Marshall. How old are you, sir?
52.
2. Okay, and how long have you been in jail on this charge?
Since 95.
27 years?
Yes.
Okay, and you were charged with first-degree murder. Tell me, what is your educational level?
11.
Have you got your GED since you've been incarcerated?
No, I'm at school right now.
Right now, okay. Tell me a little bit about the night all this happened. What was going on? What was going through your mind, and what led you to commit this offense?
Well, I had been drinking all that night and things wasn't going right. And I just went and got in some trouble.
More than a little trouble. I mean, tell me what happened, what you did.
I went and broke in the house and I seen a woman in there. I pulled a knife out and just stabbed her. Quite a few
Let me
times.
ask you this. Okay.
Sir?
When you first seen this woman, did she have a nightgown on or clothes on?
I really couldn't see her because it was dark.
Well, how did she end up on the floor naked with her legs pushed apart?
Well, he has good in mind.
Okay. Well, you were there. I wasn't, so that's all I can do is guess if you can't tell me why. And you stabbed her 29 times. I mean, sounds like you're a little bit more than startled, no? 29 stab wounds this lady had, 10 of them which were lethal.
No, it wasn't legal, but just happened. I had a bad night.
Bad night. Okay. What have you done about your drinking since you've been in prison? Anything?
Well, I took AA and different classes like that.
What did you learn from AA?
Well, I learned not to drink no more. That's for sure.
Are you still taking AA classes?
No, sir.
You consider yourself an alcoholic?
Yes, sir.
So all you was doing was drinking that night? You wasn't taking any other drugs?
Yes, I had drugs in my system too.
What kind of drugs?
Cocaine.
How long have you been using cocaine?
By the time I got the charge, I had been using at least a couple of years.
Okay, how old were you when you started drinking?
I was 17.
Okay. You drank every day? Did you do cocaine every day? I mean, how often were you doing these drugs and alcohol?
I'm doing drugs off and on.
Okay, what about the alcohol? Do you drink every day?
Most likely.
Shows you have one child. Do you have any contact with the children?
No, sir.
You have a supervision record. You have one period of probation that was revoked. And then you had a felony probation that we couldn't find out what the record was. Did you complete that second probation for that unauthorized entry?
Yes.
Okay. You have strong opposition from the judge, the DA and the sheriff. Your family is unopposed. Ms. LaShonda Dixon. And the victim is very opposed, Ms. Pam Gerace. Shows that you've been a trustee since 2004, Class A. That's correct?
Yes, sir.
What's your job at the prison?
Right now,
Yes, sir.
I'm working the laundry right now at Camp L.
Okay. We've had 7 other arrests, dating back to 1987. You have any medical history? Any ailments, any problems?
Oh, it's something with high blood pressure.
Okay. You have a low risk, minimum custody, as I stated, and you have a good institutional record. You've had 3 write-ups in 26 years, the last one being for contraband in 2002. What was that contraband? Do you remember?
It was a dollar bill.
You've taken numerous classes. Tell me what you got out of your 2 favorite classes you've taken since you've been there in Golden.
Well, kind of hard on me right now. But it's been a while. You know, I've been doing different things.
So you don't remember nothing you got out of the classes you've taken?
Not right at this moment.
What is your transition plan? Where you plan on going to live?
With my sister-in-law,
Where do you plan on working?
working for the city.
You already got a job offer for the city?
Yes.
What's gonna be your sobriety plan? What you gonna do when you get out to stay sober?
I'm gonna go find my grandchildren and do it up or live it up.
Look,
Ain't been, sir?
okay, but what about trying to stay off of drinking? Drugs, what are you gonna do about that? How you gonna stay away from drinking and drugs?
Just turn my head toward it.
Okay, well, I have no further questions, Mr. Knox.
All right, thank you, sir. Warden Falcon, can you add anything?
Really nothing to add in addition over to what Mr. Freeman had said about his institutional record. He does have a good institutional record. He's been a Class A trustee for many years for us. Just 3 write-ups in that time.
All right, good, thank you. We'd like to go hear from Ms. Geraci, who's joined us by Zoom.
Thank you. Excuse me. Very hard to listen to that. I'm here on behalf of my Aunt Ray and the Porter family. There are no surviving sisters at this point. She was one of 7 daughters of my grandpa and grandma. She was a twin. And she was in her 60s when this happened. I'm here with my sister today. There were 25 cousins, and my mom was very affected by this. She's no longer with us, as were her sisters. This was a horrible crime. Even 30 years later, there are just some things, even if you forgive, that you still have consequences for. And I haven't heard anything so far that has said anything about remorse or anything else like that. I just want you all to know that our family feels very strongly about this. And this is my sister.
Is there anything she'd like to say?
Just that we're very opposed.
All right, thank you both for being a part of the process this morning. It's very important. Mr. Marshall, what is it that you hope to accomplish today? What is the outcome you're hoping for?
Outcome of my high school,
No, what do you hope, what is the outcome you are hoping for today?
I'm hoping for to be released.
And you, did you go to trial or did you enter a plea agreement with the prosecutor's office?
I entered a plea,
So you agreed to the life sentence?
yes.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
No, ma'am.
All right, then. I think we are prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Okay, Mr. Marshall, I feel that you really have a total lack of understanding of the crime you committed. And I'm not sure if it's to any fault of your own or not. I feel you need to take some more of these classes to where you can remember them, or maybe you took them a long time ago. But at this point in time, I still think you would be a threat to the community, and my vote is no.
Mrs. Jackson?
Mr. Marshall, I just don't think you're ready. You haven't done enough during the last 28 years to make me comfortable that it would be a good idea to let you out. It was a really vicious crime. There's strong opposition from the surviving members of the victim's family, as well as from law enforcement. And you just haven't worked hard enough over the last 28 years. So I'm going to encourage you to, make a better effort. But today my vote is to deny.
Mr. Roach?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Marshall, because of the egregious nature of your offense, adamant opposition from the victim's family, law enforcement opposition, enforced supervision history, and prior history, my vote is to deny your request.
Mr. Roach, Mr. Marabella?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Marshall, you've done well in prison. You in a structured environment, you do well. Like Mr. Freeman, I'm not sure you really understand the significance of what you did and how to even deal with it. I am convinced that you don't have a proper sobriety plan. And you indicated to us a lot of this happened because you were drinking and doing drugs, yet you haven't taken enough courses or classes or programs to be able to have a real sobriety plan. You're going to need to go to AA meetings for the rest of your life. You're going to need to make sure that you never, ever put another drop of alcohol or drugs in your body. Until that happens, I could not vote to recommend that you be released or that we grant any sort of relief for you. So my vote today, as a result of all of the other things my colleagues have said, is to deny you. But keep working hard. You've got a lot more work to do, but continue to work hard. Good luck to you.
All right, Mr. Marshall, you've received 4 votes to deny your application. So today your application for clemency's been denied. You've got some more work to do, sir.
Hey,
All right, look, we can get you back in.
Okay, so let's unpack that, right? I mean, obviously it was a no-brainer that he was going to get denied. This is one of the faster life commutation hearings that we'll ever see, and really that's just because it's so obvious. I mean, there's I think it was, what was it that he said? I'm not sure if there's any fault of your own, and I think what he means by that is, is his IQ just like so low that he's on the cusp of being legally, what's the word I'm looking for? But or he's just a clueless monster. I mean, I think he's a monster anyways. So he's 52 years old now. He sure hasn't aged well. He's been locked up for 27 years. In 1995, he went into the house to rob her, and then he stabbed her 29 times. I tried finding the news article on Google so we can get the full details. I couldn't find it. If anyone else can, please do. I think it's harder to find stuff when it's kind of like the pre-mainstream internet days. They found her with, I think, undressed, with her legs open. So not only did he stab her 29 times, but he probably did SA, and maybe due to, we just don't have those records. But then they said they found her legs open, and then bringing it up to him, he says, "Guess is as good as mine." Like, what? I don't know, man. Guess is as good as mine. Again, I just can't imagine that he's not working with the full what's shed there. Why did he do it? I don't know. I had a bad night. That's a bad night. Scary, man. He had 7 arrests since 1987, going on 1987 until that point. Frankly, I'm surprised it was only 7. But then what's amazing is well, let me get to this point. And he killed a twin. And there's just something so much more dramatic when it's a twin. There's something that is, from what I've read, anyone has a twin, it's like losing half of yourself. And just that is breaks my heart. What's incredible is that he just is straight up excelling in prison, and that's where he needs to spend the rest of his life, and that's where he needs to die and be buried under that prison cell. And doesn't look like he has anybody. He has a son that he's never spoken to. No one's here on his behalf to say anything about him. He's a lonely old man. Young 52, but old 52, is that what I should say? Works in the laundry. If you want to get any solace or any, redemption of all the pain that this man brought, going into a room in the middle of the night, stabbing someone 27 times, leaving them in that state, is that his whole life is in a little cell, windowless, and he's doing laundry, and he's alone. Can you imagine having to be a roommate with someone like that? Man. He's only had 3 write-ups in 26 years, and he's a trustee. It's a good environment for him. I like what Ms. Renatza said. What are you hoping for? Well, he's hoping for parole. So then, well, you did agree to life when you pleaded, right? Yep. Well, then that's what you're getting. You're getting what you agreed to. No, there wasn't much to this unpacking. It was quite clear as day. And it's good to have this type of information, because if you ever confront someone who says, well, I think life is just too strict of a punishment, we have a broken system, you go look at other countries. There are other countries where I think South Africa, the maximum is like 15 years. And really it's crazy when you hear about these things. you just have to point to these hard facts and data. There are certain people that just have to be locked up for life. There are. And anyone who's going to go out in there and fight you for it, you just, don't waste your energy. Just point. This is what's so great about these public hearings. We don't need to live in a la la land. We don't need to live in the clouds somewhere. This is when your answer is, your guess is as good as mine how she ended up that way. Why did he stab her 29 times? I had a bad night. He might have a low IQ, but he's got other things wrong with him as well. There are plenty of low IQ people that don't walk into a house and stab a woman 29 times. Okay, with that, I will let you go.